Good afternoon. Glad to see everybody here today. We wanted to welcome you. My name is David Little, and I'm with Comporium Media Services. And just kind of want to give you a little idea about what we're going to be discussing today. Go ahead and ease your mind a little bit. We're not here to make a sales close on you today. If we would have done that, we'd have got your keys before you came in the door and wouldn't let you leave till you bought something. But really what we wanted to do today was kind of share some information with you that is changing our media services business and has been over the last couple of years. And that has an impact on you as a small to medium-sized business owner, because these are the same changes that are impacting what you do in the local marketplace to attract customers, to maintain your customers, and to grow your business. So really this is an informational kind of learning session. We have some free reports that we're going to give you that we were able to run against your business, so you can kind of get a snapshot, so to speak, of maybe the state of where your business is in the digital marketplace today. We have a special guest with us who is a partner with Comporium. Several years back, we realized that with the changes that were taking place in advertising and in media, that if we were going to continue to be able to have a business and to be able to support local business owners like yourself and attracting new customers, we were going to have to change along with how consumers are searching for local businesses today. So we've really worked hard over the last several years to seek out partners that can help us in this space, so we can in return be able to help you as a business owner. George Leith is with us today. He is with VendAsta Technologies. He is the Vice President of Sales and Business Development, and he works with partners like Comporium Media Services to be able to offer some of these solutions that we're going to talk about today. And so I'm going to let George come on up, and he's going to share with you kind of what the state of digital is in the local marketplace today. And I think you'll learn a lot, and you'll be very entertained as well. So please welcome George Leith.
Thank you, David. Well, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm going to get one thing out of the way right now. It is a Canadian accent. You guys have some accents, I'll tell you. I might start using y'all. I was with David for the entire day yesterday, so I woke up this morning, y'all? It's coming out. But I don't say a boot. And I want to explain something about Canada. It's 30 million people, but we're all not from Nova Scotia. And The Simpsons, when they show you a Canadian, they always use a Nova Scotian accent. It drives the rest of us crazy. I very rarely say a, but I think what you'll notice is when I say things like process or Coors Light. I had a lady the other day, she said, "What did you order?" I said, "A Coors Light." She said, "Say that again." Anyways, it's a pleasure to be here. I travel all over North America working with business people through our media partners. And we work with media partners to deliver digital products and services to businesses like yours. And while I work for a technology company, 100 and some odd nerds, I call them geeks. These guys are great. Some of them got PhDs. They write code. They are the experts when it comes to the digital universe. I'm here as an interpreter because I'm a media guy by trade. I own my own business for about 12 years. And I understand that one of the challenges that business people have is the interpretation of what all this stuff means. If I put a couple of our very smart developers in this room to do a presentation to you, about 4 seconds in, you would say, what language are those guys speaking? And that's the issue when it comes to digital. Number one, it's not something that we talk about as business people on a day-to-day basis. And number two, we don't really know how to utilize all this technology that's out there for our benefit. So today I'm going to give you a whole bunch of tidbits. I'm going to give you some things you can go home tonight that you can utilize for your business that will help you be more found and more trusted immediately. And I want you to keep in mind that marketing has changed more in the last 2 years than it's changed in the last 30 years. And there are things that I'm going to speak about today, and I spoke to about 20 some odd thousand business people in the last 24 months. I've been to 120 cities this year alone, and we do these sessions, and usually they're full, and we have business people there, and they've got their little notepads, and they take notes because we're going to give you some things you can go home and you can utilize later on today. We're going to talk about what your virtual doorway looks like. And in a few moments, I'm going to prove to you that in 2014, the virtual doorway of your business is more important than the actual doorway of your business. And if you've never thought about the virtual doorway to your business, the good news is we already have, and we're going to provide you with a report when you leave here today of what that virtual doorway to your business here in Rock Hill looks like. So Bank of America's logo is up there, and it's one of our largest clients. 10,648 locations of Bank of America are logged into our software, and we're monitoring what's going on with those locations. We're monitoring where they're listed online, and we're monitoring what people are saying about them across the social sites and review sites that are out there. A year ago, we could have very clearly showed you that a listing site was a listing site, a review site was a review site, and a social site was a social site, but that's all started to blur, and we're going to talk more about those changes that have occurred in the last 12 months. But this is the problem that exists for business people. When I do a search, I arrive at your virtual doorway. And everybody does a search, and I would submit to you, and I've yet have someone in all these presentations, and I speak at conventions, and my line is, advertising doesn't lead to traffic anymore. That's the problem. Business people go, well, what happened? My advertising doesn't work as well as it used to. Yeah, that's true. Everybody tells me the same thing, and the reason for that is, when we see an advertisement, we pick up that phone that we have in our pocket that, by the way, is more powerful than a computer that put the man on the moon, and we're carrying one of those around, and we search. We search for everything we do. We search for everybody we're going to hang out with later in the day. We search for everything. It's also called creeping, where you creep people to see what they're doing on Facebook. I creep my friends, but you creep businesses too. And that's where that review stuff comes in. We love reviews. And I'm going to talk more about reviews in a few moments. I'm going to give you some real-world examples where we're seeing businesses that have had some problems with reviews. But what I want you to take out of this graphic that I'm showing you right now is that from when people wake in the morning until they go to bed at night, and this is a Google slide, this is Google research, they're always searching. They're searching for everything that they do all day long. Now, this is an interesting little slogan, but it's very true. Everybody is on their phone. I was at a family dinner the other night at our lake. We had the entire family there. And usually at family dinners, you sit there and you hack on everybody. You got that little sarcastic thing that families do. But nobody was talking to each other. They were all on their phones. And there's this game that you'll play. I don't know if you guys played this when you go for lunch and you stack your phones on the middle of the table. So you stack them all up, and the person that goes for their phone first has to pick up the check. These phones are addicting. If someone right now grabs their phone and you look around the room, it's like a yawn. Other people go, oh, maybe I'm missing out on something. I got up in the middle of the night last night and I checked my phone. Was I going to return a text message or an email at 3 in the morning? Probably not, but that's just what we do. So think about what that means to your business. If everybody is searching and they're going to your virtual doorway, and this is the most important piece of information I'm going to leave you with today. And you need to take this back to your business and start thinking about the fact that 83% of all buying decisions are made before a consumer ever enters a store. We are going online to make those buying decisions. And we're utilizing the virtual doorway of businesses to tell us whether a product or service is good or not. Your brand isn't what you want it to be anymore. It's what consumers say it is. The people that have shopped at your store, sorry about that, the people that have shopped at your store are impacting your brand. And this is what Google likes to call the 0 moment of truth. So let's talk about advertising. I said to you earlier, here's advertising. It doesn't lead to traffic anymore. It leads to search. And Google has called that the 0 moment of truth, the ZMOT. And that's the blue piece right here, and that's the research phase. And the research phase is vitally important to your business. Have you ever Googled your business to see what people are saying about it? Have you ever done some research as to what's on the review sites and the social sites, what people are saying about your business? That ZMOT can really clog things up when it comes to inbound leads. If you run a traditional advertising campaign saying you're fantastic, and I go to your website and I go to a review site and see people that say you're not, we're just going to go shop at the competitor that has a good virtual doorway. So you need to be monitoring your virtual doorway. Now, let's say that everything looks good on the ZMOT. I like what I see. I go in your store and I buy your product or service. Now there is a second moment of truth. And that is when I buy your stuff, how does it perform? And the second moment of truth lives on social media and review sites again. And that's where you're going to get repeat business. I bought that thing and it sucks. That's a problem. If people are going on social media saying the products and services that you're selling don't live up to that brand that you're trying to promote through your traditional advertising, you got a problem on the second moment of truth. These are some of the players that we need to be aware of. I like to talk about TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor's review volume grows by 30% a month. We're seeing that in the last 6-8 months. I'm going to show you a virtual search of the hair salons in this marketplace. You would say hair salons, like people do reviews of hair salons? Yeah. And there used to be not very many that were doing them, and now we see across North America, hair salon as a vertical is starting to grow in reviews. So I would submit to you that if the hair salon vertical is growing in reviews, everybody is growing in reviews. And Facebook has completely changed the review landscape about 90 days ago. So the boys over there in San Jose flipped the switch at the Facebook campus on business reviews, and overnight became the #1 platform for business reviews. So it was Yelp and Google Plus and a whole bunch of others, but in one flip of the switch, Facebook became the leader. 3 times more people review a business on Facebook than any other review channel. So consumers are controlling those conversations through those reviews. We're going to talk about a number of things today, but I want to focus on that virtual doorway. And the virtual doorway is 4 things. The first piece is what I call your digital footprint. This is the stuff that you have on your business card. You hand it out, and no one would ever hand out a business card with the wrong phone number. That's stupid. But yet business people on their virtual doorways have wrong data. Now why is that? Why is that wrong data there? For the first time, you have to own that data. You can't just trust that it's just going to be right. You've got to get in the game and you've got to own that data. I'm going to show you some horrific examples where businesses haven't owned their data and it came back to bite them. The second piece is your digital shadow. We're going to get to meet this lovely lady, Rita McCann. She's pretty, she's got a nice smile, but don't fool yourself. Rita McCann is a troll. And we're going to talk about online trolls and how they can impact your business place. But digital shadow, that's social right there, but it's also on review sites. The third piece is your website. Now websites, there's nothing sexy about a website anymore. When they first launched, everybody wanted to have a website. Some businesses wanted that 30-second video pre-roll on their website. If you still have that, please get rid of it. Because if a consumer can't find what they're looking for in 8 seconds on your website, they're going to leave it, and they're going to go to your competitor. And a consumer is 5 times more likely to leave a website that is not mobile friendly. Mobile friendly is what I'm showing you on the phone. It's a different version of the website. It's called responsive design, and you should adopt it for your business if you haven't already. The latest study that Google has done of businesses in the United States and Canada, 80% of business people say they either don't have a mobile friendly website or they have a website they hate. I'm like, okay, that's a strong word, hate. Why do you hate your website? So at these seminars, I'll ask questions to business people. So what do you think of your website? Oh, I hate that thing. Why is that? Well, the guy that built it, you know, he was working in his garage, and I kind of cheaped out. I didn't go with a web development firm. I got the guy in his garage to build it, and you know, it was a couple grand 5 years ago. He doesn't work there anymore. Took all the credentials. He's got the URL. I can't log into it. Or I got the wrong photo and the wrong phone number, and I went to the nerd that built my website, and I said, hey, Gary the nerd, I'd like to update this photo and the phone number. And Gary said, $2,000. And as consumer business people, we go, no, it's not. Not in 2014. Photo and a phone number, if I want to change that on Facebook, what is that? Upload save. It's not $2,000, nerd. They've been gaming us. When we paid it the first time, we were like, okay, I need to have a website. The second time, we know that it's upload save. You don't have to write new code and everything else that those guys talk about. So, you know, I kind of make fun of it, but when I talk to business people, they tell me those stories. They either don't have the credentials to their website, they've got old data on there, they've got old photos, they've got old phone numbers, they've got Flash on there. You've got Flash on your website. Since the iPhone was invented, half the world's mobile devices can't see you. You don't exist. So we have to update those things. I wasn't talking about website presence a year ago, and I started talking to business people. I'm like, I just thought that was a 101. You have to have a website. Do a search of it. Most businesses in North America, and where do you land? What shows up? Their website. See, keep that thing up to date. Oh, social. Oh, well, Facebook is my website. Okay, good. That's okay, I guess. It's not right. It's not the way it's supposed to be done. You better have a presence on Google+. I'll show you why that's important in a moment. You better have a Facebook page. Did you know that the #2 search engine in the world today is Facebook? Consumers are using Facebook to find businesses. So business person has 5 locations, and they have one Facebook page for all 5 locations. That's easy. You just go promote all your stuff. But if it's a search engine, then you better have the right data. And I'm going to show you a nightmare in a few moments about why not having a Facebook page for each location is a bad thing for you. But let's talk about listings. We've done some surveys of business people in North America. Their single biggest problem when it comes to digital is listings. And guess what? For media companies that provide listing services, it's a problem too. And I'll tell you why. There's over 300 places on the internet where you need to be listed. Some of them are applicable to your business, some are not. But by being listed on more places on the internet, you build what's very important, and that is rank on search. So when I search you, you're more apt to show up. The problem, though, is there's nobody at TomTom to call to change your listing data. You can't call Tom1 or Tom2. There's no phone number. There's no email address. Hey, Tom, here's my new address. You've got a wrong one there. So how do we update TomTom, MapQuest, Apple Maps? Those are all pretty important places that you would want to be listed. So about 8 months ago, we started thinking about how to fix this problem. It exists for all of our media partners who then work with clients like you, like Comporium does. And we went out and negotiated a contract with these 4 companies: Factual, Axiom, Infogroup, and Newstar. Those 4 companies control all the data on the internet. If you've ever noticed that ads are following you on the internet, so ladies, you go shopping for shoes, you go to the Macy's site, you find a pair of shoes that you really like, and then you go to other sites on the internet and those shoes haunt you. Like they're calling you. They're like, buy me, buy me. Axiom controls that data. Axiom knows everything. They know everything we do. So they can surface advertisements to people that want to buy that stuff. It's called targeted digital. But Axiom also controls business listing data. So we call this listing distribution, and we send your data to these guys, and then they push it out here to the over 300 places on the internet where you need to be found. Now that's a bit of a dog's breakfast. Like, where is the value there? Business people say, well, George, I don't need to be found on mamaalwayssays.com. I don't even know what that is. So where's the value in this list of 309? Well, here's a big chunk of value. This is every vehicle navigation system: Apple Maps, MapQuest, and TomTom. That's pretty good value. Next, let's look at some of these. We've got Haibu on here, we got Judy's Book, we got AOL, we got City Search, and then we got some of the, we got chamberofcommerce.com, YP. We got a number of these very important listing sites, and I just showed you 36 to 300. Now, the reason you need to be concerned about citations is building citations helps the rank of your business in search. If you wanted to bury a dead body, where would you do that? On the second page of Google, because nobody goes there, right? Nobody goes to when's the last time you went to the second page of Google? It's a joke, by the way. It's a nerd joke, so obviously it didn't play very well here. But the second page of Google is not where you want to be found. You want to be found on the local search for your local marketplace. This is the data that we're going to send out: name, address, phone number, state, website, business category. It's pretty important. Oh, and now they're accepting hours of operation. Have you done a search on Google lately? I did one yesterday for the business that I was looking for, and it said about to close.
I've seen that.
And it's orange. It's like, if you're thinking of shopping here, you better hurry. And then you look at the time and 5 o'clock and it's 10 to 5. That's fantastic. Imagine if you didn't have the right hours of operation. It'd be a bit of a blocker. Talking about blockers, this is a business out of Santa Barbara, California that we work with called Beneflex Insurance Services. I'm going to tell you, 250,000 businesses, this is as bad as it gets. I call this a rogue listing. So we log them into the software and we compare how the business wants to be seen with what we found across the listing sites, directory sites, and we have that report for you that we're going to share for you, all your businesses later. But look at this orange, this yellow stuff, or I'm sorry, the red stuff. I'm colorblind. The red stuff says that there's a little problem around the name. So Incorporated Inc. doesn't really matter. That's not a big deal. But on Yahoo Local, there's some pretty big problems. The website is missing. We just talked about websites a moment ago, pretty important, but the phone number is wrong. And this is where the real problem lies. The phone number is really wrong, because when you call that number, you get Beneflex Insurance Services' direct competitor, ICS Insurance Services. Oh. So every inbound lead that they were promoting, so they bought some Yahoo ads, let's say. And you go to Yahoo and you call that number because you need to buy insurance because you just had a new baby, or you bought a new car, or you bought a new house. Hello, ICS Insurance Services. You don't care. You're buying insurance. Sucking up all those inbound leads. Competitors creating listing sites for you. That's why you need to be concerned about your visibility. And visibility isn't an end game. It's not something I can say to you, hey, we're going to clean up your visibility. It is an ongoing battle. Here's the problem with visibility. Let's go back here to some of these. I can't tell you when restaurants.com is going to accept your data. I can't tell you when TomTom's going to accept your data. All we can do to provide for you is an environment where we keep pushing the right data, and eventually they'll pick it up. Now, we have uncovered some things since we've been doing listing distribution, and that is some of these listing sites only pull data once a year. I was at a meeting in Washington, D.C. a couple weeks ago with the Better Business Bureau. The great guys there, they're doing a lot of good work. They're trying to make some changes, but the Better Business Bureau doesn't accept new data. So it's tough to change your listing on the Better Business Bureau. You got to get your sales guy from the BBB, and you got to give, and then he sends it. I think he might send it in an email. Don't quote me on this. I know I'm being videotaped, but so Ben at the BBB, if you see this, tell me how it's done. Like they're building technology so that they can accept data, but right now it's really a hand-driven process. So all we can do is create an environment. I call listing distribution insurance for your listings. It's like vitamins. We're going to take it, we're going to send the data, and eventually they're going to pick it up. I can't tell you when mamaalwayssays.com is going to take your data. That's the problem that exists in listings. Now, the one thing we can do is we can go in and claim what we call the Big Four. And the Big Four are Google+, Yelp, Yahoo, and Bing. Those four we can claim. And that is a conversation that you have with them, and they phone you back with a PIN number, or they send you a postcard, and they want authentic data. They're all over it. They're like, they've made it very difficult for third parties to claim data, so we'll work with you and show you how to do that to get those claimed properly. This is the search that everybody wants to be on. This is my hair salon thing I talked about earlier here in Rock Hill. If you take the map out of the equation, what's the first thing? Take that out of the equation. First thing that you are drawn to? Oh, the stars. I want those stars. I call this the Magic 7. How do you get on the Magic 7 for your marketplace? Very important. The stuff you sell in your town. That's how people search. Here's the 3 things you need to be on the Magic 7. The first, very important, single most important thing you can do to be found on the internet is a Google Plus page. You have to have it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Number 2, you got to get some Google reviews. Google is all about content. So they've got these updates. Maybe you've heard about them. They've got like Panther and Penguin and Hummingbird, and now the latest one is Pigeon, and the upcoming one is Saber-toothed Tiger, for all I know. But whenever you hear one of these fancy names where they updated the algorithm, they're changing things. And I'll show you some new functionality in that Magic 7 in a moment. The most important piece is that stuff I was just talking about. Consistent business listing data. Think about what happens as a consumer when you search for something on Google. What's Google most concerned about? Getting you good data. They sold a lot of AdWords last year, $19.2 billion to AdWords. But that's not what's driving their business. Driving their business and what's built them into this billion-dollar company is having good data. The Google bot goes out under the hood when George asks for hair salons in town. It searches all the data and it says, here's the 7 best hair salons in town. Now, I don't know if these are the 7 best. I don't know if Modern Salon does a good job or not, but Google says they're good because we can find them. So, I want to tell you about these stars. How you get the stars is get more than 4 Google reviews. You don't get them on 2 reviews. You only get them when you have more than 4. I'll show you some new functionality. Just came out with this Pigeon thing. So when you hover on Serenity Spa Salon, you start to get more stuff over here. There's your reviews. They have 10 reviews, so now this is showing up over here. Pretty cool. Got the hours of operation. That's pretty cool. There's one thing missing here, though. Serenity Spa Salon does not have what I call a proper Google Plus page because they have no photos and they have no inside photos. And you can get Google to come in and take pictures of the inside of your business so people can virtually shop there. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a moment. But this new functionality just released a couple weeks ago. The next piece is,
I have a question.
we're going to take questions at the end, so if you don't mind. So this piece right here, this is why you need to get some Google reviews. They don't have Google reviews, so look what happens. People also searched for their competitors. Pretty important to get Google reviews. Here, you don't have your competitors showing up until below the fold, they call it. There, oh, there's your competitors right on your page. That sucks. So search, very important. This is our page. We better have this right, by the way. So we have photos and we have inside photos. That's when you hover. You put your mouse there and this is what you see. And look at this. This is fantastic. Google Plus content showing up in the bottom right-hand corner. So Google Plus is listing information, very important to have your listings right, because that information surfaces in Google Maps and it surfaces on this search. The second piece that's important is content. And Google Plus is also in competition with every other social network out there. So you have to take your Facebook and your Twitter stuff and get it on Google Plus. Content, very important. So this is what that's looking like. And when I pulled this yesterday, this is where I want to show you that closing soon thing. It was just before 5 o'clock. You better get to that store because they're going to close here in a few minutes. Really exciting stuff. So think about it as a consumer that lands on that page. Let's talk about reviews. 90% of US consumers in the latest Nielsen survey said that their buying decisions were influenced by an online review. I like to do a bit of a survey when I do these seminars. How many people have used an online review to make a buying decision? Just raise your hand, please. And it is virtually everyone in every room that I present in all over North America. So I like to say we're starved for reviews. We love them. It tells us whether, you know, Toyota's got that great ad. They got the new Tundra, and the Tundra pulls a bridge in the ad, in the TV ad, and then at the bottom it says may not actually pull a bridge. Well, advertising, we see that stuff, we go, oh, I don't know, is that propaganda? Does it actually do that? That's why we like reviews, because we can see a review from our neighbor Bob that bought a Tundra and can say, oh, it hauls a bunch of lumber, it won't haul a bridge. We like that. It's authentic consumer content. And I talked about social jumping into reviews. So Google Plus, I presented with Google in Cincinnati here a couple weeks ago. My friend Marcella, great lady, I asked her, I said, do you guys even know what this thing is? Because they changed the name of it. It was Google Places and Maps. And all we know is that it is a social network that they're pulling all the data to put into Google Maps. Really important stuff. But it's all over the place because the industry is a bit of a blur. What was listings, reviews, social, all coming together into one. So Google Plus is listings, it's reviews, and it's a social site. So are these. Foursquare. If you don't recognize that, that's the new logo for Foursquare. They're going right after Yelp. Foursquare and Yelp. You check in. It was called Swarm. Now, when I go to Foursquare, it just knows that I'm at the airport in Charlotte, and it tells me where the good restaurants are in town and all that sort of stuff, based upon the things that I've told Foursquare that I like. That's pretty cool. Same with Yelp. Close nearby, and they had that little monocle thing where you could look for where that's cool. Facebook jumped into reviews, overnight took over the review business. As I said to you earlier, 3 times more people review on Facebook than other platforms. So there's 3 scenarios for reviews. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care how big you are, how small you are. You either have no reviews. And in 2014, the data shows that when a consumer lands on a business listing that has no reviews, they wonder if they're even in business. Because 90% of US consumers use online reviews to make buying decisions. Now imagine if all you had was negative reviews on your virtual doorway. It's like pulling up to your store and having 5 people standing on the front step going, hey, don't come in here. They don't do a very good job. Don't come in here. They make you wait for 45 minutes for your dental appointment. Don't come in here. The dentist poked my gums last time. That's what it's like. Reviewers sitting right on that virtual doorway when we go to shop. Or businesses have a healthy review pipeline, meaning they're getting hundreds of reviews from different sites and they're not doing anything with it. So we'll talk about all 3 of these scenarios. The first thing you need to understand is you can't sit in the weeds anymore and ignore this stuff. You have to engage reviewers, positive and negative. I'm going to show you why. Here's a negative review, and here's the 3 steps you need to take to deal with a negative review. First step, say you're sorry, whether you are or not. This is not a place to get in an argument with a customer. It's bad. It's called a brand meltdown. Want to see a good one? Go to BuzzFeed and search Gordon Ramsay. You'll see a restaurant in Nashville where the owner had a few too many drinks one night and went online and started yelling at everybody that hated her online. It's a nightmare. It's a brand meltdown. It goes very badly for the business person. So say you're sorry. The second step, really important piece, leave some marketing, I call it. Say things like, we sold 2,000 of those last year and never had a problem. This must be an isolated incident. And then the third piece, get them on the phone. I own the business and I would like to solve the problem. By the way, does that look familiar? If I walked into your store in real life, your actual doorway, started ranting and raving about something that I bought, what would you do? Would you argue it out in front of all your other customers and your staff? Yeah, so you'd get them to go into a quiet room, your office, get me a water. So this happened, speaking of water. I'm standing at the Omni, and you can video this part, because I'm still a little hot about it. So I'm standing at the Omni, and my room flooded last night. So at the afternoon I got there, water flowing in, they've got a couple pails there, there's a note, we're going to move to another room. So I pack all my stuff up, and I go downstairs. I said, no, I got to meet David for dinner in Rock Hill, so I got to go, but everything's packed. You guys move it. I'll pick the key up later. I get there later, and the lady, nice young lady, she says, no, I'm sorry, sir, we're sold out. We can't move you to another room. I said, well, it's like a tropical rainforest in my room. Like, the water is flowing in there. She said, there's nothing I can do. I'm sorry. We're going to take care of your room tonight. I said, I'm here all week. How about taking care of my week? I'm mad. And I'm trying to be nice because it's not this young lady's fault. She's just the messenger. So I said, you know, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation, but I'm mad. So what's the first thing we do when we're mad? We go to a review site. We push the all caps button. And we start, right? We're mad. How many of you have left a negative review? Just raise your hand. How many of you have had a business person respond to the negative review? Never. It rarely happens. But it's starting to happen more, and it is best practices to respond to those reviews. Now, I haven't checked yet to see if the Omni has responded to my all caps, 3-paragraph, exclamation mark, and I'm usually a pretty calm guy. But last night, that water continued to run in my room all night long. It was like Chinese water torture. So I didn't get a lot of sleep. But that's what happens. And negative reviews can impact your brand very badly. And you know, I don't care what brand you are. Hyatt Regency is a great brand, right? If I say Hyatt Regency to you, what do you think? Expensive and nice. That's what I think. But when I go to stay at a Hyatt Regency, I always check the reviews because hotels have an issue. And that issue is 2 little words, and they creep me out. Bed bugs. I don't care how nice the Hyatt Regency is. If someone else stayed at the Hyatt Regency I'm going to next weekend and they report on a review site that they got bed bugs, I'm going somewhere else. I'll stay at an extended stay or a Clarion, and I never stay there. So negative reviews impact our business. What's this thing? It's a Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail of review response, the only chance you have of getting what I call the Holy Grail is to talk to the customer. Because the only person that can get rid of a negative review is the person that posted it. So by talking to the customer and solving the problem, you can get rid of it. And we all want to get rid of them. That's the first thing that comes to our mind. We see a negative review. What do I do? Can I get rid of it? Yeah, deal with the problem and ask the guy to take it down. Now, even better than that. What's better than the Holy Grail? Fountain of Youth? Probably. So let's look at what I call better than the Holy Grail, which is getting rid of the negative review. Here's a negative review on Facebook. Toscana Restaurant and Grill, real world example. Mike Cheerio goes out for dinner, bites into his angel hair pasta, rubber band. Rubber band, disgusting. So he leaves a negative review, and I like to call this, what happens here, piling on. Negative sentiment. Look at all this. People just complaining, and now this woman over here, Tammy J. Payne, tells some story about some rubber band she found at some restaurant not even related to this. Social media piling on. It happens. Negative sentiment, and it happens for days. So this thing is posted on, I think it was the 14th. There goes. Negative. Negative, negative, negative. Goofballs. Mary Grace calls the business. So we, as a digital agency working for Toscana Restaurant, jump in, find the negative review, respond. So here's our response. Excuse me. The response is, sorry, leave some marketing. We changed our processes. We went and tore the line apart. We found all the other rubber bands, whatever. And then we asked them to call. So ask for Murat, the manager. All the best. Happy belated birthday. Dave B. Stanley is us. That's the digital agency responding on behalf of the business. Mike Cheerio, he jumps on the next day and he says, I just called, spoke to a different manager, was offered a complimentary dinner. I'm very pleased, looking forward to some delicious angel hair pasta. Glad they did the right thing. All cool now. And the sentiment goes from goofballs and people telling other stories of bad experiences at restaurants to glad they did the right thing. He goes, me too, Regina. He even likes this over here. That's his like. And she goes, better late than never, I suppose. Completely changes the sentiment by just talking to the guy. So let's talk about positive reviews. If you think that positive reviews are easy to get, I'm here to tell you they're not. They're tough to get. And why is that? When we buy, so let's say my entire stay at the Omni went well. I give them my $1,438 that it's going to be to stay there for the week. I maybe get some dry cleaning done. Things go well. They take good care of me. They load my car, everything else. Guess what happens? Nothing. I'm busy. I got to catch my flight back to Canada. I paid you $1,439. It better have went well. Right? We have an expectation. If that's met, we only go online with a positive review when the service is exceptional, when the product is exceptional. Now that woman last night, if she would have put me in a suite, dry cleaned all my stuff, bought me free complimentary drink to calm me down, I would have gave her a positive review. That could have completely changed the sentiment of the business. So positive reviews are tough to get. This is a positive review right here. I like to call positive reviews unicorns. You don't see a lot of unicorns anymore. And if you were to see a unicorn, like we're going to drive to Greenville later today, and I'm telling you, David, if we see a unicorn, we're loading that up in the back of my Chrysler 300 because they're tough to get. I want you to understand that positive reviews are like unicorns. They're difficult to find and tough to get. So we need to be thinking about getting some unicorns in our business. We've got some exciting ways to do that, and they're working. The first thing we better do, though, is we better say thank you. We get a positive review from somebody, that's our best customer. Thank that person. You want those people on your side. You want your brand ambassador unicorns, because it's a war. It's a war of words, and here comes our troll, Rita McCann. Rita McCann is a troll. Why do I call her a troll? Well, she's obviously pretty, but I call her a troll because Rita hates everything. And we all have consumers like this. They hate everything online, they hate everything in real life. You can never make them happy, just ask her husband. She's never happy. So Rita complains about our business online, and look what happens. My two beautiful unicorns, Val and Sheila, ride onto the battlefield of social media and protect my brand. And they say, no, you must have gone on a bad day. Our whole family's been going there and have never had a problem. I love this stuff, and there's more and more of this happening. Somebody attacks a store that they love, they get on there and they go, no, that's not the way it goes. They protect your brand. That's why we need to get some unicorns. This is a real-world example of a response to a positive review. Again, Dave B. Stanley, that's us. We have a deal with this business called the Shed Barbecue and Blues Joint that anytime there's a positive review, we're going to send out some marketing. Because I use all this stuff for marketing. That's what you got to do. Use the negative ones for marketing and use the positive ones for marketing. Because we're all reading them. U.S. consumers are starved for online reviews. This is a marketing channel. This person says, we love it. It was fun, looking at all the stuff displayed, blah, blah, blah. We send this message. Loved having you. Thanks for getting fed at the Shed. And we send them to an online store to buy shirts for our place, the Shed. That's cool. That's cool stuff. What about car dealer? I like using car dealers. Somebody leaves a positive review for a car dealer. Hey, by the way, thanks for leaving us a positive review. We appreciate you buying the new Kia, whatever it is. And we have a shuttle service that can take you to and from your work when you drop off at our detail shop, or whatever it might be. Utilize these channels for a conversation with your customer. Think of social as a conversation, because that's what it is. And it's only going to get bigger. This world that we're living in, online, digital, is not getting any smaller. It's never going to be smaller than it is today. It's just going. It's growing like crazy. Here's another one. Look at this stuff. Shed, thank you very much. First guy, Wayne likes it, then he goes on. Like Wayne obviously is a bit of a chatty catty. He gets on, he goes, starts talking back and forth. There's the conversation I was just speaking about. And everybody's reading that going, this must be a great place. He wants one in Austin too. So how do I get some unicorns? By the way, that's a fabulous Halloween costume right there. You just wear a suit and a hat. Perfect. We need to get some unicorns. And getting unicorns will help you on these two scenarios. If you have no reviews or you have nothing but negative reviews, you need to get some positive unicorns out there talking about you. Real world example, this is a client of ours. We started doing this postcard thing where you would expose the URLs to the review sites. So what URLs do you put on the review? Oh, by the way, that's a URL, the address. So there's the addresses. Here's what you always do. Always put Google Plus and Facebook. You need that stuff. Google, you're going to get rank. Facebook, everybody's going there. It's the biggest review channel. But then, for my friend Ed at E&M, I would have put the URL of the site he sucked on. So if you have one where you have negative sentiment, put that on there. You want to push people to that. Because the one way to deal with negative reviews is to bury them in positive reviews. It's just a numbers game. You have to fundamentally change the way that you run your business. So this card, there it is. Oh, it's got a QR code. It's got the name of the guy. It says, if you have any questions, give us a call. If we had a great experience, please leave it online. Now, does this work? Well, I'll tell you what. This is one of the most exciting things that I've ever seen. When a business really adopts this thing, they're able to start changing positive review sentiment immediately. Now, here's a few things you don't want to do. Don't print the cards up and leave them on your front counter. Because nothing happens to cards on our front counter. You know, the local charity comes in and says, hey, can you hand these out? And then you just use them for scrap paper 6 weeks later. Nothing happens to cards on the front counter. You have to sit with your staff and say, I want you to hand this out to every person that you deal with. And maybe you're going to have to pay them. I've got some car dealers giving $50 bonuses for 5-star reviews. This is really important stuff. You have to do this. Now, if you do this, this is what could happen. This is an account of Comporium and Make It Local. Pretty exciting stuff. David watched one of my webinars a few months ago. He says, this postcard thing's a good idea. Goes and suggests it to this client right here. The client is Auto Pros Columbia. He is using the postcard thing, and look what happened. He's got 2 negative reviews. Now he's got 44 positive reviews. It's exciting stuff. All he had to do was ask. It's pretty simple. Now, what you don't want to do, please don't do this. Great seminar today. Hopefully you're taking something away from it. You go back to your business. You're like, I talked to this Canadian guy. He says, we better get some reviews. You grab your tablet. You log into Yelp. You go to the staff room. You pass it around to all your staff members. You say, hey, review us. Say something nice. Don't do that. Yelp will block you. If you go from 1 positive review to 200 in 1 day, they know exactly what you did, especially if it comes from 1 IP address. They know what you did. You had a customer appreciation day after this Canadian guy told you to get some reviews, and you passed the tablet around. So you can't do that. You need to do the postcard thing because it happens over a period of time. They come in organically. This story is in your packet. I want you to read this story. It's from Eric T. Schneiderman. It's in the New York Times from last September. This is something you can't do. So these firms in New York got fined for populating phony positive reviews because, as I told you earlier, you bury negative reviews in positive, but they were posting phony reviews, and Schneiderman and the boys at the Attorney General's Office of the State of New York investigated them and fined them. And this is happening across all jurisdictions because they want to protect the review pipeline. Virtually everyone in this room put their arm up when they said they were using online reviews. Eric Schneiderman views a phony positive review like false advertising. And they're trying to protect those channels. This shows you how important online reputation has become. I want you also to think about reviews. I showed you some marketing stuff you can do there. That's largely to put out the fire. There's a bit of amplification of positive there. But what reviews really are something that can help you run your business better. So when you look at reviews, there's intelligence in there as to how people are being treated. Let me give you a real-world example. We got a partner in Barrie, Ontario, Canada. And they sold reputation intelligence to this furniture store guy. Furniture store, it's a town of about 28,000 people. Surrounding area, it's about 80,000 people. It's very similar to this market, somewhere around there. The guy pretty much knows the majority of people that he's dealing with. He's got a nice lady comes in. He's got a new staff member. It's a busy Saturday. He lets the staff member on the floor. Not properly trained. He admitted that. But it's busy. You got to take care of customers. They're going to leave. They're going to go down the store to Mattress or whatever it is. You got to take care of these people. So busy Saturday, he's kind of watching. He sees the transaction. He knows the new staff member is struggling. This has happened to all of us, but we're busy. So at the end of the day, he looks at the Visa receipts till he goes, oh, we had a great day. You know, it sold $160,000 of furniture on a Saturday. That's fantastic. I'm going to go home and have dinner with my family. Now, one of the things that we're able to do with the Make It Local program is you don't have to log into a review site to see what people are saying about you. We just put a piece of software there that my fabulous nerds and geeks have built, and it just listens to what's said, and it sends you an alert tomorrow morning if a review is populated. An email alert. You don't have to go log into anything. It just arrives in your email. It's fantastic. So the next morning, the guy wakes up, and the email lights up. Bing. He checks his email. Oh, crap. It's the lady. She's left a not-so-nice review. 3 paragraphs long, maybe some capital letters, I don't know. She's mad because the girl that took care of her didn't put any of the hardware or the frame or anything in for her bedroom suite that she bought. And here's the other problem. This woman is that kind of lady. They're going to church in a couple hours, and she's going to tell everybody she sees about the furniture store and the problem, right? This happens all the time. Not to mention the fact that she left the review. In fact, leaving the review because he was monitoring review channels gave him an enormous opportunity. He phones her. He says, hey, whatever her name was, mad lady, I was wondering if, he didn't expose the review yet. He said, I was wondering if everything went well on that transaction yesterday. How's the bedroom suite? And she goes, well, let me tell you. And she lights into him. And he says, oh, well, I just wanted, that girl was new. We just hired her, right? Sorry, leave some marketing, explain, make an excuse, and then I'm going to take care of the problem. I'm going to the store right now. I'm going to pick up all that stuff, and I'll be over at your house in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it was, and I'm going to fix this. Takes care of it all, At the end of fixing it, the lady goes, you know, this is fantastic. It's really impressive. I know how busy you were yesterday that you called every one of your customers to see if they were well taken care of. And he just played along. Guy looks like a hero. He goes, yeah, no, that's good. He said, but I have to be honest with you. I did notice that you left a negative review on Google+, and I was wondering now that I took care of this if you would remove it. And she said, yeah, no problem. I'll take that down. In fact, I'll take it down and put a 5-star review up that says you have awesome customer service. So fantastic. We get rid of the negative review. We get a positive review, we get a unicorn, and better than that, she's going to go to church in a couple hours and tell everybody how fantastic that guy is. Now, how did this all happen? He just listened. He listened to what was being said on his virtual doorway, and he turned around something that could have been pretty bad for him. So email alerts, very important piece. Not just one of them. Send them to all the managers, or in my case, so-called managers. So I used to work in the restaurant and bar business. I had 5 restaurants in Canada and 2 in Phoenix, Arizona. And let me tell you, that was a challenge, managing those places. I wish I had this thing, because I could sit on my lawn chair in Phoenix and see what was being said about my restaurants in Canada, and then I could call my so-called managers and say, hey, this guy left a negative review, go solve the problem. That's why I use the term so-called managers, because you hire managers and you hire staff and you train them, and you hope that they do it the way you train them. But they don't. They don't. They're more concerned about getting to level 8 on World of Warcraft, or what Snapchat came to them, or what happened to their girlfriend last night, or you know how staff are. I want to manage my business better, and anything that I can use to see what people are saying about the transactions is of benefit to me. So when we talk about a marketing opportunity, it is a marketing opportunity. You better have good listings, you better have a good positive reputation, you better tell people about the great things that you do, but it also is a way to manage your business better by using the intelligence from the reviews to run that store better. So this is the report. We called it a snapshot. It is a report on your virtual doorway. And here's how it looks. And I pulled this a couple weeks ago because I was doing a presentation in Omaha, Nebraska, at the headquarters of Berkshire Hathaway Media. And we pulled this account. And by the way, Mr. Buffett owns Berkshire Hathaway Media, and he owns Wells Fargo. So I was like, hey, I'll make this hit home. I'm going to pull a Wells Fargo up that's 3 blocks from where I was doing the presentation. And look at this debacle for a virtual doorway. The first thing is, that guy obviously works there. He's got pictures of his kid and stuff, and I don't know what that cup is. Is that a tip jar? They have a tip jar at Wells Fargo? So in the report, we show you what some of the photos look like online, and you got to be aware of that too, because consumers are leaving this stuff. You know, on Yelp, you can leave a video review. I should have done that last night. I was half asleep though. I should have videoed the water. I should have. I was mad. I never get mad. So this is the information for this location. It's supposed to be at 5180 Ames Avenue, the phone number. They're in the financial services business. We looked at Newstar, Factual, Axiom, and Infogroup. We found some problems. They have problems with their listings. They are found on 12 out of 22 sources. This is their industry, financial services, so we compare you to your industry. We show them all this stuff. They don't have a Facebook page. By the way, that's a bit of a problem. Their accuracy is not bad, but they're not found anywhere where they need to be, so they've got some pretty good accuracy on a couple of sites. Here's their social, or their reviews rather. They got a couple of reviews, so that again, they don't have that virtual doorway with people talking about them. Here's their social, Facebook, awful. Oh, well, actually, they don't have a Facebook page. So when I saw this, I'm like, well, they don't have a Facebook page, so what's going on here? Well, guess what? They do have a Facebook page. And you better monitor what's going on with yours. If you don't have a Facebook page, people that check in at your store can create one. And this is what it looks like. That's Wells Fargo for that location's Facebook page, created by people that checked in. Look at this. 45 people have been here. And look what Facebook is nice enough to do. They just put 3 competitors a couple blocks away that all sell the same stuff. That's why you better get a Facebook page, because you don't control that thing. I can leave a review. I can talk about that place. I could say I don't like the fact they have a tip jar at the bank, right? So you better own that. Here's the social media stuff. We also take a look at your website, and we grade that thing based upon Google's grading for a website, and we show you how it looks on a mobile device. Oh, epic fail, Mr. Buffett. Wells Fargo doesn't have a mobile solution. They got this crap here. I don't even know what that is. That's what we arrive at when we go to their website. Let's talk about social marketing. So the lines are blurred. We got listings and reviews. We're going to give you the snapshot report to show your virtual doorway. And social has been a little elusive when it comes to return on investment. And David and I get to go to a lot of these conventions where the so-called experts will stand up and they'll say, okay, I got it. I got ROI from social this time. We're very excited because we're all looking for ROI from social. But the first piece of social is just about taking care of your customers. Because when you lit up all those social channels, you gave them a place to talk about you. So customer service, again, a lot of this stuff I talked about today is all customer service. It just lives online. Customer service is the #1 thing you need to be concerned about for social. Because it's like having a phone line. You got a Facebook page, people can ask you questions. Like having a phone line ringing that you're not answering. Here's another thing, and I'm not picking on anybody that's under 30 here. But have you tried to have a phone conversation with somebody under 30? It's a painful experience at best.
Yeah.
They don't talk on the phone. They text, and they instant message, and they email, and they multitask, and they use social media to communicate. You better be aware of that from the millennials. That's your customers. That's your up-and-coming customers. And calling them on the phone is a painful experience. I call my daughters all the time. It's like, yeah, okay. Just text me, Dad. I'm busy. That's what's going on out there. Everybody, you're giggling because you know I'm right. So what's happening on your social media channels is, what time are you open until? Do you have this product or service? Right on your Facebook wall. You suck. Right? That's where the conversation is coming. I bought this thing and it's horrible. Picture. Speaking of online pictures, we have found some ROI from social. It's in generating leads. You know that on Twitter I can put a 25-mile geofence around your store? I can put some keywords in there and I can show you everybody that's talking about the products or services that you're selling. Now how does this work? Well, I've got some people on my Twitter and they drive me nuts. I got this one young lady. She is insistent upon taking pictures of her nasty toes and saying to me, I need a pedicure. So it's not just, I need a pedicure, or OMG, I need a pedicure. It's, I need a pedicure, picture of the toes. You're like, oh, those are gross. Make a decision, nail color on or off, not in between. So, but let's say that I was a nail person, and I found 15 of those within 25 miles of my store, and I reach out to them and go, oh, Susan, those are nasty. We've got a $10 off coupon right now that I'm going to deliver. You deliver it right to their phone, and they can bring it in on their Twitter and redeem it at the store. So it's called discovery marketing. We put a geofence around your store, we put keywords into Twitter, and we find the things that people are talking about. Real world example. I'm in Chicago, I'm staying at the Fairmont Chicago, beautiful hotel. It's right across the street, no floods, right across the street from the Renaissance. And the concierge says, the Renaissance got this great Italian restaurant, go over there and have dinner, because I've been staying there all week. You can only eat in a hotel so many times. So I go across the street, have this Italian dinner, it's fantastic. Check in on Foursquare, my Foursquare is linked to my Twitter account. As I'm walking across the street, bing, welcome to the Millennial Park area. This is from the Fairmont Chicago. I haven't tweeted at the Fairmont Chicago. All I did was check in on Foursquare. It says, welcome to the Millennial Park area. We have just renovated our bar called Opera, and here's a 2-for-1 drink coupon. Right there, just click the button for a 2-for-1 drink coupon, which was fantastic, because I was probably going to have 2 drinks anyways, and I only had to pay for 1. So that is active listening. We can send offers right to your business people. We have a chain of collision stores called CarStar Collision. And what they're going to do is when there's a hailstorm in one of their 240 marketplaces, they're going to light up active listening. Because you know what happens on Twitter? OMG, hailstorm. Pictures of the hail. Pictures of the car that got damaged. So then they reach out to them and they say, here's a $250 off coupon. What about the upcoming election? I got one for you. So Clay Aiken, is he running? Yeah, he's running. I did a demo on this the other day. So imagine if you put a geofence around the marketplace that Clay Aiken is running in, you found people talking about Clay Aiken on Twitter, and there's lots of it. I did a search. And what if Mr. Aiken was able to send his brochure to everybody? Everybody that likes him and everybody that doesn't like him. We're just going to send you propaganda, because you know that they're talking about, they're interested in it. Exciting stuff. Discovery marketing. The third piece is post interesting and relevant content, please, on your Facebook pages. As a consumer, I just hate buy my stuff. I call it buy my stuff, where you run around the store and you take pictures of all your stuff and you post it, and then you go, now I'm going to post it cheaper because nobody bought it. I mean, that's what business people are doing. They're putting all these posts up of all the stuff that they sell. That's not how you do social. How you do social is you put content on there that is interesting and relevant to the people that are your fans. And you want to put content on there that positions you as an expert in your industry. And I like to use the example of the plumbing business. Now, what does a plumber post? It's not glamorous stuff. Right? Flooded basement, boxes floating by. That's not. But what a plumber should post, I bet you a lot of plumbers can fix Carrier air conditioners. And if you go to the Carrier website, there's a whole bunch of content there about Carrier air conditioners. So, you know, your air conditioner broke down. I'm the Carrier expert in the marketplace. Here's some things. So that type of stuff. Interesting and relevant content. You don't want 24/7 ads. So I hope that we've given you some things that you can go home and utilize. I'm going to stick around after to answer any specific questions that you have. And we're going to hand out those reports in a few moments. My name is George Leith. Thank you very much for coming today.